Hello and welcome to TavolaTalk podcast, where we talk about all things football. Today I'm joined with Oscar.
Hello.
And we'll be discussing everything to do with Manchester United. Oscar, you are a Manchester United fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
So how do you feel like the season has gone for Manchester United? Obviously not a great one.
Well, obviously not a great season. We got knocked out of the FA Cup by Fulham. Came 15th in the Premier League, and more recently lost to Bilbao.
So that final in Bilbao, it wasn't a great one, was it? It was actually a really poor standard of football.
So bad.
It was really
Even the
bad.
winning goal, for it to almost be an own goal and then just to be just jumbled off over the line, it's just so frustrating. Man United fans.
Yeah, really frustrating. I feel like that final in particular, Man United, the standard of football was just really, really poor.
It's hard to watch.
They were so predictable with what they were doing. Also, why did Ruben Amorim start Luke Shaw?
As well, and also starting Mason Mount as well.
Mason Mount,
because
that's the reason Garnacho's leaving this summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because did you see Garnacho after the game? He was like,
he was just frustrated. Also, when he went to Asia as well, he kept on being subbed and he was just so angry.
Yeah, that's a good point as well, because Amorim said at the end of the season, in that final match, they did win it against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
What did you think of that match, in the last match of the season at Old Trafford? What did you think of that?
Obviously, very controversial for the Aston Villa fans.
Extremely controversial.
Man United fans are kind of saying that when nothing matters, they pull through.
Yeah, it's like they've got no pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah.
But Amorim did say at the end of that match that good days are coming.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, a couple of days later,
We lose to the Malaysian All-Stars. So.
Post-season match is not going so well. So, what's happening there? Is he just like playing his B team, or?
Well, there were a lot of starters in the team, like Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Onana. So to see them lose to such a lower level side is a little bit concerning.
Yeah. So Manchester United season. Some people are saying that Ruben Amorim needs to be sacked. What do you think of that? Because I feel like that's quite harsh.
I don't think so. He came in a few months ago.
Yeah.
He didn't have much to work off. Kind of had to build everything from scratch. And did say the storm was coming.
Yeah. He came in when Man United were 13th. So they weren't in an amazing place there.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
He didn't have any of the players he wanted or needed.
Yeah.
I feel like we do need to give him some more time. It's a bit of just a trend with Man United that they just don't give managers enough time. And some people even think if we gave Ten Hag more time, he would have built on his philosophy more.
Yeah, to be fair, because last season, where did Man United finish?
8th.
They finished in 8th.
Yeah,
the season before that, they finished in 3rd.
Yeah.
And they won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So it was, or was that last year? I can't remember.
They won the FA Cup last year.
Yeah. So Ten Hag, obviously, I think it was kind of time to go though for Ten Hag. A lot of people were saying he's been given his chance, but also it seemed like he was creating this hostile culture
exactly.
at the time.
Sancho and
with
some
Sancho.
players, yeah.
But do you think that Sancho was treated too harshly by Ten Hag?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the rumours of him lying about Sancho and forcing him to apologise and stuff, it just all seems a bit I don't know.
That was all a bit. Ruben Amorim, obviously he came in, and straight away he was dropping Rashford from his squad though.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be a common theme with Rashford, because obviously he left Man United, and he only on loan, but he was thriving under Unai Emery.
Also with Scott McTominay, Anthony. It's becoming a bit of a trend. All these Man United players going out on loan, just thriving at their new clubs. Yeah,
because Rashford, he scored quite a couple of goals at Aston Villa. Yeah. He started in the Champions League quarter final, was it?
Yeah, I guess.
And yeah, he did very well under Unai Emery, and he is playing alongside, like, you know, the Villa players, Morgan Rogers, John McGinn, players like that. He was doing very well. What did you think when you know, Rashford was obviously getting stick at Man United. He was in the media a lot negatively. What did you think when Marcus Rashford went over to Birmingham and started performing really well?
Yeah, well, I thought he kind of needed a move away from Manchester United at that time. He was having a bit of a tough time.
Yeah.
Ruben Amorim clearly wasn't going to play him many league matches, so to really gain back his confidence, get those minutes up. He just needed to get the minutes up and improve his confidence at a smaller.
Well, yeah, that's a good point actually, because getting the minutes in and having that confidence was something that I think Jadon Sancho needed, Marcus Rashford needed, Scott McTominay, Serie A Player of the Year of the season, MVP.
Yeah.
So it just seems like that now people are joking, saying, you know, Manchester United, you know, restrict players' talent, and players are kind of, you know, can break away from Manchester United and start playing such high level football. Scott McTominay is his highest scoring season and most assists in a single season in the whole of his career. Now he's gone to Antonio Conte's Napoli. You know, what do you think of that? Because Scott McTominay, let's be honest here, he was a rotation bench player. He was that much.
I mean, obviously, maybe it was something that Man United never really discovered in him. His more of an attacking force. Well, obviously, when you saw him score, he scored. It normally came with a few more as well. In the FA Cup draws last season, and also against Leeds a few times. He kind of hated Leeds. Scored a few hat tricks against them. So you kind of could see his attacking force in Man United, but he never really used that with him.
Yeah, that's true. But it will be interesting to see. Obviously, he's left permanently now, but it will be interesting to see whether these loanees come back to Manchester United and kind of believe in the future under Amorim, or if they'll try and force a move away. What do you think? We didn't even Anthony. Anthony's one as well that went to Real Betis and, you know, is a new player. It was really reminiscent of his Ajax days. In Spain. So, you know, let's chat about Anthony for a second. Yeah. Because he's done very well in Betis.
Well,
he's done very well.
You can see La Liga's not as high of a level, and the standards as the Premier League. Not as much pressure playing for a team like Real Betis, and kind of needed to gain back his confidence, regain the skills that he once had in Amsterdam.
The fidget spinners.
The fidget spinners, the spinning, and I feel like he kind of went there to lock in. So I feel like he's definitely
and he's played very well alongside like Isco as well, such an experienced player.
But you see him against Chelsea, and you just think like he just can't do it against the Premier League teams.
That's an interesting point actually.
And against
Conference League final, he was
against such a mediocre left back as well in
mediocre left back, but. Yeah, Anthony found it very difficult against him in the final, and it kind of was like, well, Anthony, he was doing very well at Betis. A lot of fans were saying he was thriving. He could have won the Ballon d'Or. And suddenly, it was kind of like a reality check against Chelsea. Oh, is it because of this? He's playing in this league now where it's a bit slower. Players
bit slower, less tempo.
Lower tempo, But it will be interesting. Do you think that Anthony, Rashford, Sancho, do you think they'll all be coming back to the club, or do you think they're staying?
Well, I think Sancho would probably stay. He kind of proved that in the Europa League Conference League final. I think Anthony, he's asked to stay. I feel like he probably will stay. However, Rashford, I think he's a bit too much of a Man United kind of in current years a legend So I feel like he will probably return to the club. But you see with Anthony, it's the fan base I think that gets him more
It's the fan base.
at the Real Betis, yeah, because you can see Real Betis, they're just always so supporting, so loving, but when it
so
comes to Man
passionate.
United, if you have a bad game, all the fans hate you, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's much more of a capricious culture at Manchester United.
Less really like togetherness at the club.
Yeah, well, we saw that in the Conference League final as well. The Real Betis fans, they were so emotional, and they just showed how connected they were to the club and the players. Anthony was devastated at full time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that seems to be because he spoke out about how he was having a hard time.
Yeah.
When he left, seemed to be the right club for him. But Marcus Rashford linked to a move to Barcelona.
Well, I feel he did say that he wanted to go to Barcelona.
He did say
But-
that, and Hansi Flick said he was an admirer of him.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of pressure. Well, in the past, I don't think. Well, he hasn't dealt with pressure the best, but I mean, he could if he gets to move to Barcelona, new start, new culture, new language.
Yeah. Do you actually see that happening though?
I don't know why Barcelona would be so eager for him, to be honest.
Yeah, well maybe like I don't think he's proved himself that much. God, he had a good loan spell at Aston Villa,
But to be fair, compared to McTominay and Anthony's loan spells, they weren't the best. He was definitely better than Man United when he was at Man United, but like he wasn't really like a standout player. You could see in the against PSG when he got the ball, he was definitely faster. He was kind of the only one in the game that could compare to PSG with like the skill, the pace, but he did. I don't think he's reached that level of confidence yet to consistently take on players and like just dribble past, taking shots.
Yeah. Compared to that season, a couple of seasons ago, he scored about he had about 30 goal contributions, and more above that really, and that's where his celebration came from.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been a shadow of that player for a couple of seasons now. I don't know if he was good at Aston Villa, but he definitely, I don't think, he'll reach that prime stage of his career that he was at a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure well, I mean, he might not ever reach back at his prime stage. That was probably the height of his career. He's getting older now. Like 28. Getting to the alter stages of his career. So maybe moving to Barcelona maybe could up his game, or he just wouldn't handle the pressure. So
that's true.
It's time will tell with him.
Yeah, I guess the last question is, what will next season be like for Manchester United? Do you see silverware for next season, or do you see just an improvement from this season? Because it'll be hard to do worse than this season, if we're being honest.
Yeah, well, if you look at the individual tournaments, obviously no European tournament next season, so they could focus, put their minds more domestically. Maybe look for a Carabao Cup, maybe aim for FA Cup if they really put their minds to it. And but obviously they just need to improve in the Premier League next season. Obviously 2 seasons where back-to-back lowest finishes, getting worse each season now. So I feel like you see in the last few managers it's just gotten worse. Like they sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when
he finished second, didn't he? He's third. He finished second.
He was second, but he was sacked when he came 6th. And back then, that wasn't good enough for Man United. But now we would kind of been like, if a manager came 6th now, there's no doubt he's gonna stay in the job.
No, 100%.
So I feel like it's just getting worse for Man United. So if they keep a manager, I feel like they just need to keep a manager now and just back
keep a
him,
manager, keep
back him
players
all the way. And I feel like Ruben Amorim is the man for the job.
Keep a stable side now. That's what they need: stability. They need strength. in the club. They need leaders. And on that note, that's our thoughts on Manchester United's season. Short but sweet. And let's see what happens next season. Let's hope for a big 2025-2026 season for Ruben Amorim. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and make sure you tune in next time for our next TavolaTalk episode. I'll see you later.